Hi, it's Patrick with Above and Beyond Sewing and Vacuum. Today we're going to talk about some routine maintenance to do on your baby lock or brother or for that matter any machine that has the drop-in bobbin system like the baby lock and brother machines do. So we're going to cover just routine maintenance on things that you need to take care of on a pretty regular basis. And I'm going to show you on two different styles of machines here. We got one, our top of the line Solaris here, and then we also have a midline machine, the Jubilant, that we're going to be working on also. So with that, let's go ahead and get started here so I can show you what you need to be doing on a regular basis in your machine. If you do nothing at all else besides this, you're going to be doing a good job. The hook area of your machine is what I like to call the heart of your machine. This is where everything is actually happening inside of when you're doing your sewing. You got the needle working down, you've got a hook that's spinning around in there, you've got the feed dogs that are moving up and down, and again, a lot of lint can actually materialize down in that portion of your machine. It's really, really important that you keep this area nice and clean. Again, all of the machines that I'm talking about here are oil-free machines, but just because they're oil-free does not make them clean-free. You still actually have to clean them. And I would recommend getting yourself on a cleaning schedule of every 30 to 40 hours of actual sew time. That's actual time that your needle's moving up and down in the machine. And again, I want you to get comfortable enough to actually be able to take your hook part, the heart of your machine apart completely. And it's really, really simple on these machines. I've actually already removed that top cover, but in order to remove, again, to get into the bobbin area, all you have to do back on the back side of the Jubilant here, or again, any of the midline to higher end brother machines or baby lock machines, is just push back on this little gray mechanism, and it's actually going to release this little top cover here. So you can actually pop that off really nice and easy. That actually exposes your bobbin case, which you can remove nice and easy. And then all you have to do is get your needle plate off to open that whole area up. Now on the Jubilant, you actually have two little screws in here. The screws are actually underneath your top cover. It makes it really difficult to get into them. They do supply some really nice tools. So again, this is one of the multi-position screwdrivers that comes with some of the machines, but you can buy it as an accessory at our store or any baby lock dealer. It has a really neat little mechanism that you can move around to, depending on what part of the machine you want to get into. When we're doing the needle plate, we're going to move it to position 2 here, and we're going to be able to actually get into those screws and just loosen them, and then you can actually physically remove the 2 screws really nice and simple, like so. Let's see if I can get this other one here. And again, we're just going to loosen that, and we can get in there with our finger and remove that screw nice and easy. I'll get my hands out of the way so you guys can sort of see what I'm doing there. So once we get those screws out, the needle plate comes off nice and simple, and while you actually have your entire hook or the heart of your machine nice and open there. So again, that's the way to get into the hook area of any machine that has the 2 screw openings on the top of the needle plate there. Now if you're lucky enough to actually have the Solaris or the Luminaire, I'm going to go over to that machine now, and we're going to actually work the rest of the times because it's got a much bigger area and you can see a little bit easier what I'm doing here. But again, this is a really, really simple process to get into the needle plate. Nobody has any excuse not to clean your machine when you have one of these machines, because it's a really, really simple process. We've got a little gray switch over on the side here, and all you have to do is push that switch, and you can see the needle plate pops free, and you can take that off. It's really, really simple. So there's no reason to have a dirty Solaris or Luminaire machine. It's a really, really easy process. So once you get that needle plate off, again, we can remove our bobbin case, and you can have access to that whole area there. So, and once you get into there, again, it's a matter of how to clean it. We've got a whole bunch of different ways to clean your machine. The simplest, easiest way, most cost-effective way is that nice little lint brush that they gave you with your machine. Again, the lint brush is going to, you're going to be able to get in there, the lint is attracted to it, and it'll just come right up out of the machine nice and easy. I'm more of an instant gratification kind of person, so when I'm cleaning my machines, I want to clean them fast, and I don't want to mess around with just the lint brush. Air cannot hurt your machine, and again, I know it sounds like a racket. They sell this. It's 10 ounces of air. They sell it for $10.95, but it is a really effective way of cleaning out the hook area of your machine. I know a lot of these videos you'll see online don't recommend canned air, but again, I recommend it highly if you're using it the right way. What that means is that you need to use it. If you're one of those people who's cleaning your machine every other year, then correct, the canned air is not really a good way to do that. But if you follow my advice, and we're doing this every 30 hours of sew time, when you before that lint has a big chance to build up under there, it is actually a really, really fast and easy way. And again, this is powerful enough that it's going to be able to keep your machine clean really, really simply. It's actually made for computers, so again, I wouldn't worry about the board of the machine or anything else. It has a powerful enough pump on it that it's going to get that debris out away from it. Again, just use it the right way. The reason people tell you not to use canned air is with canned air it's condensed air, which is condensation, which is water. Nice thing is the water is actually heavier than the air. So if you don't turn this upside down like this or shake it, again, that water never, the air will come out without the water actually spraying out. I've turned it upside down so you can see when I start to use this, I'm going to have a little thing of mist that comes out because I actually turn the can upside down, and that condensation goes up towards the top. So again, if you don't do that, life is good. I've been using canned air for 25 years, and I've never done any damage to a machine using it. So when you use it, again, you can actually work from the front of the machine, or excuse me, the back of the machine to the front of the machine in order to clean it. That's blowing all of that debris out away from your gear mechanisms. So again, when we use this, we're going to adjust, and you can see, again, how effective it is just by spraying back to front. We can get all of that debris out away from those gear mechanisms, and you can see how effective it is getting that nice and clean. So again, canned air is a really, really effective way. Another really effective way is a little mini vacuum. There's a couple of different styles of this. We of course sell a brand called Simplicity, and they've got this little flash vacuum. It's awesome. We sell a ton of these. Every sewer should actually have one of these vacuums. Very, very powerful, nice and compact. It's a little dust compartment that you can actually throw all the dust away. It's reusable, so there's no bag cost or anything of that nature. Just a really, really cool vacuum. Very inexpensive also. And they come with all of these wonderful little brush attachments. This is just one on there that, again, we can turn it on. You can actually get that brush. When you put a vacuum against lint, the vacuum wins every time. It's a really, really cool way to clean your machine out. So again, I highly recommend these. We also sell some really nice mini vacuum attachments that'll fit on a standard 1 1/4 inch opening vacuum hose. Those are going to, again, be very, very effective. They're even a little less expensive than the handheld vacuums here. And again, it's like little dental instruments that will get into the hook area of your machine and keep it really, really clean. So that's just a couple of nice ways. Also, air will not hurt your machine. So again, don't be concerned using an air compressor if you want to. Again, the biggest problem with an air compressor is most of the time you keep those in the garage, and unfortunately you don't sew in your garage, so it's kind of a pain to get to your air compressor. But we have our air compressor turned up to 125 pounds, which I know is overkill, but again, when we put our air compressor against the lint in your machine, the air compressor wins every time. It's really fast, really easy to do. So again, if you do nothing else on the routine maintenance side of your machine, you want to pop that needle plate off or unscrew it and take the needle plate off so you can actually expose this whole area and know what's going on in there. So I get people coming in all the time saying that my feed system won't work, that I can turn my stitch length all the way up, I can turn it all the way down, and the fabric isn't feeding through. And all that's happened is, again, these feed dogs are moving up and down, backwards and forwards, and collecting lint inside of these little tracks here. That lint gets so thick in there that the feed dogs can't reach the top of the needle plate. So it's a miracle cure. All you have to do is take your needle plate off, clean out inside of those tracks, and then all of a sudden your feeding system is working perfectly again. And again, I see that happen more than you'd ever imagine. So again, just make sure that you know how to take your needle plate off, you know how to get into the inside of that mechanism so you can keep that nice and clean and keep your machine performing like it needs to perform. There are a couple of things that I want to point out to you now that we have this open. Some people get a little bit overzealous when it comes to cleaning out their machines, and there are some things in there that belong in there, and you want to make sure that you don't try to take a pair of tweezers or anything else and get really in there and try to remove them. There's a couple of felt pieces that are involved in your cutting mechanism. So one of the felt pieces is actually on your your bobbin case itself. So you can actually see there's a little felt there. Can you see that? Okay, the little felt piece there that belongs on that bobbin case. So again, don't try to peel it off thinking that it's lint. The other one is actually in the cutting mechanism itself. There's a little felt piece, and again, this is the one that's kind of deceiving, because if you get a really, really dirty machine, it looks like lint. But it's actually part of the cutting mechanism right here by the cutter, and again, you want to leave that alone. All you need to do with your canned air is spray. Everything will go away except for that piece, but don't get in there with any tweezers or try to think that that's something that's stuck, because it does belong there, and you need to make sure it's left in place. So again, just to recap a little bit, you want to do this about every 30 hours or so time. Canned air is a perfectly acceptable way to actually clean out your machine. The vacuum attachments are actually my favorite way, because you don't have to worry about that lint blowing all over your sewing table and your fabric and everything else, and it's just a cleaner way to keep those machines clean. And then, of course, the air compressor, if you want to drag your machine to the garage or drag your compressor up to your sewing room, it is another really good way of getting this all cleaned out and ready to go. So once it's all clean, it's really simple to put back together. I'm going to actually show you on both machines. The Solaris, again, is super simple. It's very easy. All you have to do is put your bobbin case back in to the machine, and you're just going to do that. There's a white little arrow here that matches up with the little white dot on the machine itself, and you're going to have a little bit of play to that bobbin case when you actually place it inside of the hook mechanism. Once you get the bobbin case in there, again, it's just a matter of snapping your needle plate down, and once again, we're completely ready to sew and ready to go. That's again the easiest you could possibly get on any machine. It's just really cool with our little snap on and off a needle plate here. On the other machines, anything else, we're going to move over to the Jubilant now. There's a specific order on the Baby Lock and Brother machines that you need to put these machines together in. And again, it looks very deceiving, because you've got the bobbin case, of course, and it looks like the bobbin case should actually go in first. I just noticed something here that I'm going to actually point out to you also. When you take your bobbin case out, give it a nice little inspection, because it's really, really simple to fix some potential problems on these bobbin cases. The bobbin cases, of course, are plastic, so they actually, if the needle makes any contact with them, the needle, of course, is going to win, meaning that it's going to go through that bobbin case. So you can see this bobbin case, it's one of our classroom machines here, but actually has, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but it has a little ding or a little hole in it. So if you, again, this can cause you some sewing problems if you don't take care of those little dings or those little, if you get too many of them, you're going to need to actually buy a new bobbin case. But if you catch them early enough, we can actually use our finger to actually just flatten those out and actually get rid of them on the bobbin case itself. So they're nice and smooth, so your thread doesn't catch on them as it's coming around and trying to form your stitch. So if you're getting a lot of broken threads, if you're getting some weird tension problems, some looping problems, again, inspect your bobbin case and just see if you've got any issues with needle penetration marks on there. And again, if you get too many of them, I would highly recommend a new bobbin case. Again, the retail price on them is $29.99. They're really not that bad, and you can find them at any baby lock dealer. We of course carry them in stock here, so we would love to help you with that. But anyway, it looks like that the bobbin case would be what you would put in first. But on these machines, it's really, really important that you actually put your needle plate on before your bobbin case, because the needle plate, its whole job is to actually hold that bobbin case in place. And if we try to put our bobbin case in before our needle plate, the needle plate tends to swing that bobbin case out of place, and then you're going to get some really bad jamming problems in there, and you're going to get really mad at me for not telling you this. So again, we're going to take our needle plate, you're going to put it on before we do anything. We're going to put it back in, and we're going to actually tighten it down. So we want to actually put those screws in and physically tighten them down. So I've got those in there. We're going to use our handy little tool again. If you can't find one of these, or you don't want to buy one, a quarter is really, really effective. You can get a quarter out of your anywhere that you have some change, and it fits right in this opening here, really, really nice. Again, the screwdriver gives you a little more torque, which is good, and we're going to just tighten those screws down. And we're going to tighten this screw down also. So we got that all tight and ready to go. Next goes our bobbin case. So again, once the needle plate is in place, we can now physically put our bobbin case in, and again, it's got that same little white mark on it that matches up, and we can actually just put our bobbin case in. Again, we have a little bit of plate of that bobbin case, and then we can pop our top cover on, and we're ready to sew. So again, this is basic routine maintenance. You need to make sure you're comfortable doing this. It's really important. Again, just because these machines are oil-free does not make them clean-free. So make sure that you're keeping up with this. I recommend every 30 hours, and again, if you do that, it'll make it really, really simple for you to keep on top of all of the debris and lint and everything on these machines. So with that, stay tuned for more videos. Again, you can find these videos in 3 different places. We actually have them on our YouTube channel. Just search for Above and Beyond Sewing, and they should come up. We also have them on our webpage. We've got them under the Tips and Tricks tab on our webpage, which is www.aboveandbeyondsewing.com. And then we're, of course, going to have them on our Facebook page, so you can find them there if you like us on Facebook. So I hope you guys all have fun sewing, and hopefully this will help you have better results from with your sewing machine. Talk to you soon.